patriarchy.
Could this movie be made today?
You're going to jail, you pervert.
Child molestation and grooming of minors presented as a bad thing. Drag Queen Story Hour, Virginia's Loudoun County School Board, Disney's noble battle against the Parental Rights and Education Bill, the celebrity-laden client list of Jeffrey Epstein, and various other blue-haired people would like to have a word.
As actors, it is our responsibility to read the newspapers and then say what we read on television like it's our own opinion. Matt Damon.
Disney Marvel has made it very clear in recent years that rugged white males punching each other in the face is dead with the dinosaurs. The only acceptable villains are sympathetically portrayed young women with zero emotional range who run crime syndicates or blatantly commit acts of terrorism and genocide. Generally played by bland and relatively unknown minority actresses because, Disney doesn't have to pay them as much. But it should be noted that their evil deeds are okay because it's white man's fault.
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up.
How are those Echo, Agatha Harkness, and Ironheart series coming along on Disney Plus there, Disney?
No.
You're a big fella. Who ate the guy who ate all the pies, eh?
What you want to do? You hungry? That's a silly question, isn't it? Look at you.
Those two lines made me love Bella more than any other character in this movie. Body positivity activists, the geniuses who came up with the concept that thin privilege is racist, and various other blue-haired people would like to have a word.
It is a big deal. You almost killed Stanley.
Yeah, right. I filled him full of butter and sugar for 50 years and forced him not to exercise.
They're fighting for freedom, and we believe in freedom in New Zealand. It is a marvellous thing.
Freedom-loving New Zealand implemented draconian COVID lockdown measures widely agreed upon as the most restrictive in the world, putting the governments of China, Canada, Australia, and even Michigan to shame. The New Zealand government and various other blue-haired people who still wear masks while alone in their cars would like to have a word.
Today, Cabinet has agreed to maintain our current settings for an additional 12 days.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order.
That's a huge
small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that...
Get the shot.
Oh yeah, no. Don't want to do that.
You have to.
Oh, I think I'm just gonna sit in my truck till you learn some manners there, mister.
Wow, those people just reminded me how much demonic pits of hell evil has been done over the years in the name of, it's for your own safety. I now fully get why hell has to exist, and here's a more likable 14-year-old Jackie Evanko doing an Evanescence cover.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
Could this movie be made today?
Unless somebody has got a better idea. We'll proceed with Dallas's plan.
What? And end up like the others? No, you're out of your mind.
You got a better idea?
Yes. I say that we abandon the ship.
In the face of the alien, there isn't a single moment in this movie where Lambert shuts up, nuts up, and cowboys up. I can 100% appreciate that, as well as understand the representation of fear that Ridley Scott was seeking to create through the character of Lambert. The blue-haired people can't.
That all women are superheroes.
True. Yep.
No, doggy afuera.
That's really all I got. Sorry, Lambert. Could this movie be made today? Can you imagine freaking Maddie Ross being updated for a modern audience?
Still have to collect father's things and see to some other business.
Your mama didn't say nothing about you seeing no business here.
Well, there's business Mama doesn't know about. It's all right, Yarnell. I dismiss you.
If they remade this movie today, the gentle-mannered, God-fearing, and subservient Yarnell would go full Django on every single white character by the end of it.
Why don't they just rise up and kill the whites?
It's very spirited. Call him Little Blackie. That's a good name.
My entire movie theater burst out laughing at this exchange, and we still all slept like babies that night.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Stay here, sister. I will see Bagby.
Presented without comment.
That famous day in history, the men of the 7th Cavalry went riding on.
You give out very little sugar with your pronouncements. While I sat there watching you, I gave some thought to stealing a kiss, though you are very young and sick and unattractive to boot.
Beyond the whole conundrum of Sleeping Beauty didn't give consent, the concept of a shifting moral zeitgeist wherein young girls were once considered to be in their marrying prime in their early teen years is another one of those era-defined fluid moral concepts to which I can only say, good luck explaining it to a blue-haired person.
As a millennial, I'm part of the most advanced crop of humans that our species has ever seen.
Also, Lizzo recently described herself as not only beautiful, but the definitive beauty standard. So I'm not sure how that affects LaBeef's comments on Maddie's level of attractiveness.
It is time for your spanking. Now you do as the grown-ups say.
Your character can literally be killed off for the crime of dead-naming a transgender person on a CW show. Corporal punishment of a teenage girl in a modern film would be more than enough to prevent LaBeef from making it to the end credits alive.
That doesn't sound right.
Are you giving me lip, boy? 'Cause I'll take this belt off and put the smackdown on you. Is that what you want?
Ow!
Hey, take one of those. Huh?
Feel your hand, you son of a bitch!
Old white guys save everything.
Down with the patriarchy.
Who else down there?
Marshal Cogburn and 50 more officers.
You tell me another lie and I'll stove your head in.
A female character requires rescuing.
It's horrifying. I'm so sorry.
You would give me an affidavit. You're all against me, everything.
A female character requires rescuing.
Girls get it done.
Are you there?
I'm here!
Can you clamber out?
I cannot. There are snakes.
A female character requires rescuing.
Stand up, Tom Chaney!
From the backward stumble into the snake pit until their arrival at Bagby's store, a female character requires rescuing for a consecutive total of 8 minutes and 25 seconds of screen time.
Stop taking my hand!
It's funny because they literally took Maddie's hand. Oh yeah, that one's got layers.
I have taken his teeth. I will entertain an offer for the rest of him.
The cinematic trope of the crazy old coot from most classic westerns, in many cases were individuals suffering from undiagnosed early onset dementia, some other form of cognitive impairment, or occasionally mercury poisoning because people back then had a really bad idea of the best way to pursue a hatter's career. Depicting such people in a comedic light is insensitive to the empowered and independent dementia community who do not need your sympathy or your laughter.
It's time to admit that Joe Biden has been a huge disappointment to comedians.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put
All the jokes we were stockpiling about ancient, doddering, sleepy Joe, useless.
I'll either be rolling an egg or being the guy who's pushing them out.
The man has been nothing short of sharp, focused, and completely on top of things.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
We were expecting a font of comedy gold about a senile geezer showing up to work in his pajama bottoms and plowing his motorcade into a farmer's market.
In San Francisco, it's all about, gay bathhouses and it's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
But a funny thing happened on the way to the old age home. Biden slayed the Orange Dragon and is now spearheading the most transformative administration since FDR.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Don't be scared. You got the moves prepared. Go on and kiss the girl.
Could this movie be made today?
Nebom told me Nate was his informant. Yes, he worked for IAD. Worked for Nebom all along. He was describing himself. He just didn't want me to know.
Melanin quotient of the film's characters is never mentioned and does not influence the progression of the story in any way, because racism was basically a bygone in 90s cinema until BLM Antifa and a bunch of white liberals brought it back.
All white people are racist.
No. According to some people, I look fat in ski clothes.
No, look, that's not the word she used. She used a much worse word.
Despite winning an Oscar for his own super gay role in Philadelphia, Tom Hanks recently stated that it is no longer acceptable for heterosexual actors to play homosexual characters because apparently Tom Hanks no longer remembers what the word acting means. However, he has the full support of the blue-haired people on that one, and it's tit for tat to assume that the vice versa is also applicable. So Kevin Spacey with a wife and kid is right out the window unless he decides to flip a switch in order to get his career back.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
You ever dress up like a schoolgirl and get your spanked for?
I'm just going to call this one presented without comment, because the only appropriate way to follow up the blue-haired people's problematic rationale would be with a cringe-inducing video clip of Dylan Mulvaney, and literally every conservative commentator has already got that one covered. Stop putting Dylan Mulvaney in video thumbnails. His face is clogging up my YouTube homepage. Could this movie be made today? There are biologically based strength differentials between men and women, which is why the definition of a good man has historically been one who will physically protect women, whereas a bad man is one who would physically harm them.
Conflicted. If a kid is experimenting and says something flirtatious, you ignore it. You don't encourage it. If a kid says, hey, let's make screwdrivers, you take the alcohol away and you don't race them to the next drink.
Child molestation and grooming of minors presented as a bad thing. Those drag queens in Florida who just threatened to boycott any drag performance that doesn't allow the attendance of minors, and various other blue-haired people would like to have a word.
I don't want to do it. It's embarrassing. No, you're ridiculous. It's tradition. In Shakespeare's day, all the women's roles were played by men.
I think we're gonna get letters about this.
And now
you walk into somebody's house, you start looking through their shit, you're gonna find things that embarrass them. Doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything? The cancel-loving blue-haired people who are currently backmining the last 17 years of Twitter to find anything objectionable that anyone has ever said ever would beg to differ.
We are going to hold hearing after hearing until we are satisfied. This will be blown way out of proportion. You have my word on it.
there's no case too big, no case too small. When you need help, just call Bandels, Rescue Rangers.
Could this movie be made today? Masculine white males punching each other in the face.
Conflicted.
Old white guys save everything.
I got a gun pointed directly at your daughter's spine. Come with me.
A female character requires rescuing.
It's horrifying. I'm so sorry.
I got a gun pointed directly at your daughter's spine. Come with me.
Literally, the only black guy is the bad guy. And not even the main bad guy.
You're a white male! You're a white man! You ain't black.
Give me that, you
up little hippie.
Literally, the only black lady is the bad guy.
Tally. Oh my God, you look incredible.
Just about every woman in this movie is unapologetically hot. They even dug up a 63-year-old Kim Basinger, who is still about 10 times hotter than anybody cast in a modern superhero film is allowed to be. Think about that! A genre once noted for spandex, cleavage, Rebecca Romaine Stamos' mystique body paint, and bodily proportions rarely sculpted in nature by God, is now a dumping ground for unlikable stoic women who could most politely be referred to as frumpy. Main character's life is saved by a Republican president who is actually a heck of a lot more popular than the media and history books would have us believe.
Are you the man?
What?
Stay away from little girls.
Although the blue-haired people have little to no problem with what they like to call minor attracted persons, they do require designated safe spaces in university because words are ouchy, and they are further traumatized by things like calling obesity a health hazard or seeing the number of dislikes on their YouTube videos. They'd be feedling in the corner with a thumb in the mouth at the thought of a good citizen breaking a pedophile's jaw with brass knuckles to protect the community. Damn! Those mermaids aren't diverse enough.
Matt Damon.
Boobs.
Inflicted.
Could this movie be made today?
It ought to be me really going.
Why?
Well, I'm, and you're,
Look,
Come on, let's go.
we can discuss sexism and survival situations when I get back.
Movie fails to ever return to the urgent discussion of sexism and survival situations, and it could even be argued that Ellie was employing good-natured sarcasm rather than flat-out saying, "I'm 23 and fit, and you're a short, fat, bespectacled old Scotsman who hobbles around on a cane." Any CW or modern Star Trek show worth its salt would have done a breakstand on the entire plot until Ellie had put that old white guy in his place.
Down with the patriarchy.
Here, look, we'll have landed by the time you get it right. Come along.
Ignoring his girlfriend's advice while logistically also leaving her completely untethered in a falling aircraft, Grant basically mansplains seatbelts to Ellie.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
By the way, Dr. Sattler, she's not, like, available, is she?
Why?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You two are,
Yeah.
The blue-haired people recently forced Sam Neill to apologize for what they deemed an inappropriate age gap relationship between 23-year-old Ellie and 43-year-old Grant back in 1993. However, the blue-haired people don't actually accept the apologies they so ravenously demand, so I'm afraid Sam Neill will have to be placed in an elevator shaft and fed to a literal army of vampires.
Cookie!
You
okay?
Hey, look at this. Wait, hey, watch. Hey, come
Despite the satanic blue-haired land whales protesting the age gap patriarchy of Ellie and Grant, they are simultaneously attempting to make minor attracted persons an unassailable protected class of saints on a par with drag queens or the life choices of George Floyd, so Grant's palpable disinterest in the smitten Lex isn't stunning and brave enough. No Oscar for you!
Nothing for you!
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
The blue-haired people don't appreciate having their literal daily driving motivation reduced to a throwaway joke.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
That smug is directing the next Disney Star Wars movie. Good luck with that. Here's a more likable early 1990s Jennifer Connelly doing literally nothing. The movie sucked, but that white tank top was a damn hero.
And how do you know they can't breathe?
Well, because all the animals in Jurassic Park are female.
Grant survives his own misogyny.
I'll be alright with Dr. Sadler.
Heteronormativity.
This plane's going to Miami!
I guess it means the power's off.
With that one oddly affectated line, American as apple pie actor Sam Neill commits blatant cultural appropriation against the sovereign nation of New Zealand. You want to just smear on a little shoe polish and do a minstrel show? I suppose the blue-haired people are just being nitpicky on that one. Even the greatest actors who have mastered all manner of international accents and affectations still flub their lines once in a while.
Action!
Girl and she was good, but one of her legs was made of wood. Her hair was bald, her teeth was two, and there wasn't much turkey in the snow,
Action!
turkey in the hay. What did you say? Hey, Roland! Hit it after
Killing me with this!
Earthworm Jim! The soil he did crawl. Earthworm Jim! A super suit did fall. Jim was just a dirt eating, chewy length of worm flesh, but all that came to a crashing end.
Every film that came out was suddenly all about deep-rooted corruption in the force, or PTSD, or extraordinary rendition, or acts of wartime genocide, or
gay bathhouses, and it's all about round-the-clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
The resurgence of American patriotism in the immediate aftermath of 9/11 scared the ever-loving soy-based out of the blue-haired satanic commies who run Hollywood, and their attacks on heroes have been unrelenting ever since, mostly by reforging heroism into their own twisted image. And that is exactly why we now have Black Widow committing genocide against a Siberian prison camp in a scene that Disney Marvel honestly thought would make us stand up and cheer.
If you wipe out a Siberian prison camp, you might as well be dropping a mountain on Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Girls get it done.
Ah! Feminist cringe overload! Cut to random hot chicken revealing swimwear.
You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work.
Hollywood hates heroes. They canceled freaking Cops after who knows how many seasons because it was consistently making viewers, like, respect, and understand the hardships of cops.
Who do we call when we're in trouble and someone has a knife or a gun?
I wouldn't call the police.
Why wouldn't you call the police?
I don't trust them.
That smug bitch would 100% call the police. She would call the police and she would scream, "Send all the police!" Here's a more likable Texas Belle showing you how to barbecue.
Hey y'all! Today I am showing you how to make a smoked breakfast fatty. And now to create the bacon we're using hot and spicy breakfast sausage. You take the eggs we just cooked up. Ooh, ready for the smoker. It is perfect! Oh my gosh.
Now, I actually consider the overarching agenda of the blue-haired people in Hollywood to be far worse than your average pedophile because, Hollywood blue-haired people literally want to eradicate mankind. But I will say that they could learn a few lessons in subtlety from Jeff.
The Oscar goes to Roman Polanski for The Pianist. The Academy congratulates Roman Polanski and accepts this award on his behalf.
Wrestling just to things. Ready to lead to. So that's what we are gonna do. What we're gonna do is go away. Life is peaceful there. Bed in the open air.
Yeah, Hollywood people suck. Here's a more likable toughest man on the planet running on a treadmill covered with Lego.
Great, googly woogly!
That is a man's man right there. However, as this movie is apparently masterful at death scenes, we ended up getting possibly the most iconic death line in film history.
Clever girl.
Well, that wasn't very nice after all the healthy respect Muldoon had always shown to her. Here's a more likable Song of the South kid with a piece of advice Muldoon really could have used 30 years ago.
Self-defense. If a man ever tries to get you, just get him right here and go.
Anyway, should Christ Terry, I'll see you in the next video. Jesus loves you. Vote Lane for King of Canada. Always remember that removing the YouTube dislike button was done to protect smaller content creators from harassment with zero ulterior motives by those who inhabit certain, shall we say, loftier offices. And let's make movies great again.
You may have seen a while back that YouTube announced it was experimenting with making dislike counts private to only the creator of the video. I've always thought seeing the number of dislikes on a video helps us know as viewers if it's a good video or not. Apparently groups of viewers are targeting a video's dislike button to drive up the count, turning it into something like a game with a visible scoreboard. And it's usually just because they don't like the creator or what they stand for. That's a big problem when half of YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you?
Kind of. You've been very helpful.
Turkey in the hay, a turkey in the straw. What did you say? Hey, rolling, twisting up a high turkey haw. Hitting up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I feel it, a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and get real high. And I straight to the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, I say, hey, what's going on? And I say, hey, I say, what's going on? And he tries. Oh my God, do I try? I try all the time in this institution. And he prays. Oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day. For a revolution. And I say, hey.
That's a huge.
I say, what's going on? And I say, just keep it inside. Learn how to hide your feelings.
Come on, man.